Yo, what's going down? This is your boy Dub FX. I am doing a show called Hook, Line and Thinker with DJ D Phoenix on Neo Retro FM, so tune into that.
Think of an M word that stands for water or bathing or
Or Wednesday.
M word, yeah.
What
The family
do you call that thing where they keep all the fish at the zoo?
hatchery.
Marine, the marina?
Oh,
Call it
no,
massage.
excuse me, where the boats are.
Marina Monday. There you go.
Marina Monday.
Okay.
Marine Boy Monday.
We'll work on changing the title for you there, champ. And I see Stormy's joining us. There she is. Hey, chickadee.
She just palmed my face.
How good to see you.
Yeah, what's up?
Not much. You look great.
Thanks.
Yeah. Stormy, I think you've met a couple. I think you met Oz, and I think you met Robin. Okay. Okay. So it goes Oz, Robin, James, Stormy, and Diggler. Or Spencer, either way. And
Or Merman himself.
Merman, yeah. You know, it wouldn't be actually. I'd have more issues with it if it weren't for the fact that he did this when Dub FX and I started this. So even Dub was going to do the bathtub thing probably that following week.
That's awesome.
That would have been definitely a one-off from anybody else doing this.
Oh my gosh. Triple T,
Hey, what's up?
how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Good. I'm glad you're here.
Yes, sir. I'm glad.
Yeah.
So now I get to turn it a little bit. Speaking of the podcast, I've got a question I'm going to ask you that your dad and I have talked about a number of times. I'm just curious, in all of your days, has there ever been a time when you've looked up in the sky, or not even necessarily in the sky? Have you ever had an encounter with, or any kind of experience or sighting of any kind of aerial phenomenon or something that you can't quite explain?
That's crazy you asked me that, because it was just like 2 or 3 months ago. I was laying outside a park. It was like 11 at night.
Okay.
And I was looking up into the sky, and all I seen was like 6 or 7 like moving like things. I don't know what it was.
Okay.
They were all moving in like way. It wasn't a plane. It couldn't have been a plane, because they were all moving in different ways. It was mad weird.
Really?
I was like, is anybody else seeing this? And it was just me out there. And then my boy came and he didn't believe me, but that's what happened with me.
So like how high would you guess it to be? Like, are we
It
talking
was high as like where a plane would be, maybe a bit higher.
okay, so it was quite a ways up there then. Wow.
Yeah.
What color were the lights?
White and light blue, dark blue, somewhere around there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever talked to your dad about his sighting?
Nah.
Him and I don't remember if it was actually, now that I think about it, it might have been your mom. Out on the Jersey countryside, this was a number of years ago, saw something up in the air, and actually they stopped at this intersection, like somewhere out on one of the back roads.
My dad
got out of the car, if I remember right. There were a couple of other cars there, and this thing, the size of, I think he said like 2 football fields, came down relatively close, and he got a pretty good look at it, and then it was gone. But your aunt they were on their way back to your grandma's place, and they saw it from like 15 miles away or so. So your dad has had an experience. You might want to bounce it off of him one of these days and see what he has to say.
for sure.
Okay. Well, because of the fact, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the one that you guys are famous for, but because of the fact that you are in New Jersey, I'm curious. What is your belief in, or have you ever had any experiences with any cryptids? Because you guys are famous for the New Jersey Devil.
Cryptids?
Yeah. Like Sasquatch, New Jersey Devil, that kind of thing. Do you believe in them, or what's your take on that?
I can't say I believe in any of that stuff. Like I'm the type of person that if when I see it, I believe it for the most part. But you know what I mean?
I totally get you. Some of these things, though, I don't know that I'd want to actually see them. You know,
Yeah, facts. That's yeah. I wouldn't want to see Sasquatch.
From what I understand, though, the Jersey Devil isn't much to want to encounter, though, either. In fact,
Chupacabra. You know what I mean?
Yep, there's another one. Yep. So yeah, you're on the right line. Okay. So, but it's got to at least come up and introduce itself before you'll actually believe it exists.
Yeah, definitely. I live by experience, not by rumors.
Totally get that. So, and then of course yourself.
Hey, hello everybody.
I'm not Stormy just because I'm wet.
And Doug next door, who's in the dark.
Right, and who's coming on? Who's that?
Yeah.
Oh, I got all my kiddos. We had to
Hey.
track.
Hey guys,
I thought that was coming on my head
Stay
again.
right there.
where you guys at?
We're at the track. My other kids are in track practice.
So you guys at a school?
Yeah, Lakes High School.
Lakes.
Yeah, Lakes High School
Up
in Lakewood.
Oh,
It's in
okay.
Lakewood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll go ahead, even though Doug's still popping on. Like I said, Jordan and Shiloh. Jordan was the one that contacted me today. Jordan Harrington, one of the fighters. But actually, just so you guys know, DJ Triple T is also an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And boxing. I do boxing now. That's how I know all those guys.
Tell us a little.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, tell us a little bit about your background, real quick.
So I started in MMA in 2009. I had 21 sanctioned cage fights. I fought at a lot of the major casinos in the area, the Snoqualmie, the Emerald Queen, the Little Creek, Quinault, and Seven Cedars Casino.
Oh, wow.
And I went 8-13 MMA. Then I found kickboxing and Muay Thai kickboxing. I went 5-0 in both of those. And then I found boxing in 2016. And I enjoyed that. And I won Golden Gloves 3 times. And then I found Street Beefs. And now I fight for YouTube. And I was champion for boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. So
Right on, bro.
yeah.
I think
Right
that's
on.
it. I think that's Diggler's tribute to you, the MMA fighter backdrop, right?
Daddy.
You know who that
That's
is,
what's up.
man?
I think that's
Ever
Diggler's
seen that guy?
voice.
No, who is that?
That's ADDY YUH. That's a friend of mine that lives here where I'm at.
Really?
Oh yeah. I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he got knocked out by old sugar last and he quit.
Well, yeah, because he's old now, but back in the day, he was a beast.
Get old, man.
Back in the day, he was a beast. WEC days when he
There
fought
you
for
go.
WEC.
There you go. Yeah.
Savage.
Really? Okay.
Get down, Key.
Not a clue who they're talking about, but that's all right.
Well,
Hey,
because you're not
that's
a
fun.
fighter. It's the fight. It's the part of the fight game.
By the
And
way,
take his word for it.
quick shout out to the family and friends of Jay Gotham.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's my best friend.
Yeah, really sorry
you know,
about it.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. We've made a couple of shout outs to the family and friends of him since it happened. So
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be
thank you.
chased down by that at all.
no. We watched one on the last segment, and Doug and I both couldn't figure out how come they waited so long to run. Because you don't know what it is. You don't know if it's a dogman or a werewolf or what, but it's this dark thing coming towards them in the grass in the night. And like right about the point that it's about ready to spring is when they finally turn around and run. So it can happen in that split second.
They saw the whites of his eyes and went, "Oh shoot!"
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, you could tell if he was Catholic or not, and so you know that they have to be pretty close for that to happen. So what did you think of that one, Diggler?
Too gamey for me.
Was it?
Too gamey.
Are you thinking it's fake?
Yes.
Okay. And Cousin Robin and King James?
I felt the same thing. Like the camera was too much on him running and not. Ooh, that was ugly. And not on the subject at hand. So
There's a zombie for you.
there's a good one.
And I believe that is from World War Z.
There you go.
Okay, hi, I'm Rusty Egan, Visage Blitz Club, and you are listening to The Groove Zone with DJ Ducky.
Ow! Rock and roll.
Uh,
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I say great?
You said yeah.
If it didn't come out like great, then no, it's okay.
It looks like it's sunny there.
There actually, but it was a decent day though. It wasn't really hot. One of our
Okay.
days were kind of cooled down a little bit, yeah. So not too bad. Because I'm really at a point where it's like I'm tired of melting. This is actually the second day in a row that I haven't had to take 6 showers.
Oh, hey.
Yeah,
Well,
showers.
what?
Mexican showers is what I call them. Because when you're in Mexico and the town that you're like ministering in or staying in or whatever is on a drought, you plan out those 4 seconds that you get to stand under the water.
Very carefully.
Yep, that is one quick shower.
One quick shower. Right.
I pretty much adapted that. Yeah. So, well, I'm not really sure who's going to show up, but that's okay. And we're not going to do a lot of Fred Flintstoning and just run our feet in circles. So tonight's going to be interesting because we're going to talk about zombies.
Ooh, okay.
I figured with it being the last episode, we should
That's
talk about something with a Z.
Very awesome. Hey, Trunk Monkey.
Quick about the situation with the boy that was killed.
Oh yeah, dude.
Actually,
Did
I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's watch it again real quick.
Okay.
Refresher. Okay.
Kentucky State Police believe an animal may have killed a 13-year-old boy. They just don't know what kind of animal did it. They say the boy was staying at a relative's house in Knott County Tuesday when state police were called to the area. Now, this is in south central Kentucky, not too far from Hazard. The teen was found on a hillside in a wooded area. Investigators say his injuries were consistent with those of an animal attack. The original call suggested it was possibly a canine-type animal.
Wow. Thoughts? Was it a dog?
Well, like Thunderstruck said earlier that there's a lot of wolves.
Thunderstruck. That's Agent Thunderstruck to you.
Agent Thunderstruck.
Oh my gosh.
So wolves can be pretty wicked. And you know, they have that canine bite, you know, whatever. So
And
or it could have been a rabbit, a robot canine, where someone from Planet
Thunderstruck.
Can you hear me?
Planet
Yay!
Thunderstruck. Okay,
We
cool.
can hear you.
Ah.
And so, what, they're just going to be recordings and they're just little voices? Yeah.
The
And
angel just got its wings.
I keep getting messages.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, and I really did think an angel just got its wings too. That's really sad.
Where's that weird music again? Why do they do that shit?
Well, because they've got to, like, yeah, I know, like the subject matter itself isn't. You know,
yeah, I know. Right?
I think that this is legitimate only because of like what Dizzy just said. Is that, and kind of along the lines of what we talked about in the way of giants and stuff. Yeah. Just because it's something out of a fairy tale does not mean that it's not real.
Well, where do the fairy tales come from? I mean, a lot of them are have actual, what do you call it, validity?
Right.
You know, they're valid. You know,
right.
too.
Right. But because he was saying before you went off on the Girl Scout tangent about brownies, you know, that he believes in that. It's now not along the lines of like our LA Marzulli fiasco from a couple years ago, where we found out mid episode that wasn't legitimate. But I think that this could be real. I very easily think this could be real.
It looks oddly enough real.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say. And if they do exist, I mean, that's what I would assume, that they're very much alike, you know. I mean,
well, there's a lot of stories coming out online now about like trolls and pixies, marsh and forest nymphs, and things along those lines from around the world. And there's actually some really kind of like the mermaid. These things aren't, well, I mean, obviously, like the troll doesn't have a good reputation unless it's the Pixar one.
Well, but who's telling the story? So usually in all aspects, the storyteller is the one that's going to create the narrative, and the troll never gets a good rap. So I'm just going to say, from the storyteller.
That's, you know.
There you go. Once again, womp womp.
Thanks, Debbie. I don't know. Any input on that one?
I liked it. I thought it looked really cool. I liked how it physically kind of had more of an apprehension. It felt a little bit more authentic.
Right.
And
I mean, I could be totally off base here, but the guy seems not to be the type of person that would take the time to create something like that. You know,
he seemed to be like the kind of person that one would present itself to. You know, somebody who's
almost looks like him.
Sort of like that.
Well,
now,
yeah,
there's.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, wasn't that in like Ireland or Scotland or something like that?
Had to have been.
Because their folklore, it goes so far back with those types of tales and stuff. In fact, I've been actually listening to a Scottish fairy tales audio book recently, and it's
really
story. Yeah, they're fascinating stories.
Scotland is full of a lot of strange stuff.
Very superstitious over there, and yeah.
And we don't hear that other than Nessie and the monster or the beasts in the lake. You don't really hear that much about Scotland when it comes.
Well, what's amazing is how much they've held on to, per se, the tale of these pixies and little people and stuff like that, and what they're all about, and how much they are still in the public eye and awareness of actually being real, you know, because this is the
yeah.
Have you ever seen? Oh, go ahead.
No. Well, there's a town, I forget. It's in the show Lilyhammer, and then and they also have it in the film Troll. And there's a town in Scotland, and like it's like the whole theme is troll stuff. Like they have like it's I can't remember right off the top of my head, but like it's you know, it's like a novelty thing, but I think there's more to it than that, like we were saying. But yeah, go ahead, Oz. I'll try to find out I'll try to find out the name of that town for next time, or whatever.
Yeah, do.
Or message in the group. Go ahead. Sorry about.
I was just going to ask if you had ever seen the video of the people, and I for some reason I feel like it's in Mexico or something, but they're sitting there with a camera and they're filming this little, it looks like a little dark clump on the ground until it stands up and walks away, and then they follow it. As they're following, it's darting from like behind the chair, and then it's like, oh shit, and then over to the behind the table, and it looks real, so real. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, is this the one where it's like in a house and it's got kids in it?
Yeah.
That one's
well, I think that's part of it, but that's not the same video. That's a different one. But I think it's something that they may experience quite often. But I do believe, if I think about it correctly right now, that they said that they captured it and they were caring for it. And basically it was, I don't know if it was hurt or not, but they were keeping it for its better welfare. And, you know, so, I mean, if something like that existed, I would expect it to act exactly like it was acting there too, you know, like, you know,
right.
In fear.
When I was on one of my mission trips down in Mexico, there was a Baptist pastor. Him and his wife had been down there for a number of years. They adopted two Mexican kids that were disabled at birth, two twins, and they adopted they adopted the girl. Her brother was adopted by another Christian family down there. But he was telling me though, when I was down there, and his name was Ken, and I don't remember what his last name was. But anyway, when it came time to go actually do the adoption, it was so far up in the hills, and I want to say it was by, gosh, I'm going to totally forget the name of it. Oh, Oaxaca, which is actually way kind of up in the middle of nowhere, up in I want to say like up in the mountains or whatever, on the peninsula. I don't think it's on the mainland. So it's in Baja, if I remember right. But anyway, like the most,
no doubt. Otherwise, we're going to be subject to a bunch of puppet playing performers, and I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, or robot, or AI. But anyway, that's another discussion. That's
I know that. Yeah, that's for another day and time. Okay, so we also do this podcast on the program, Dub Effects out of Australia and myself. It's called Hook, Line, and Thinker, and we kind of get into fun, funky topics. One of our most recent ones is the whole aerial phenomenon situation that is occurring around the world. Things that you see in the sky, but you can't quite explain.
Okay.
So now, Robert, you toured in a number of areas around the country or around the world. Have you ever looked up in the sky and seen anything that you couldn't quite put your finger on or explain away?
Well, to be honest with you, everything in the sky I can't put my finger on or explain away. I'm a Luddite when it comes to that. My wife's very good. She can tell which way to go. Where's the North Star? What's going on? You know, all that stuff. Yeah. But I mean, I'm increasingly aware that even where I live, which is you know, in a mountain range, really, just south of Granada, 20 minutes from the sea, but we're up a mountain.
Okay.
I heard what I thought was a whole swarm of bees the other day coming, and I looked up and it was a drone, and somebody was flying a drone just over the mountain, taking photos, making some sort of video, and really? That freaked me out, because I thought it's not long before these drones will come around and say, "So what are you doing? Are you working? Are you doing that?" You know, those things. Well, we're getting back to artificial intelligence there. I've probably been watching too many. But you know, I do. Yeah, it's a tipping point. But yeah, I mean, UFOs. I mean, I don't know. It's all unidentified in my mind. So you know, I'm constantly wondering, and I'm fully aware of the fact that here we are spinning on this weird little planet, and there's no end to that out there. And I mean, you're looking at things which are hundreds of millions of years old that died hundreds of thousands of years.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, that was Time Storm. You see, Time Storm was about how disorientated I became in the first few months of lockdown, and because there was nothing going on, there was less light pollution, so you could see more, and you become more aware of how small we are, which is a kind of nice feeling.
It is. It really is. And did you notice, I suppose, depending on where a person's at, those first couple of months after everything hit and slow down, it's like you could hear the earth breathe.
Yeah.
It's like nature just kind of like got a chance to like catch its breath and
but just briefly.
Yeah, I don't know if he knows about Holly, but I would imagine so.
Yeah, I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it to him. I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I would have.
Triple T.
What up? What up?
How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Stormy?
Makeshift earplugs.
I'm fucking here.
Put these in, like, their screams can inflict tremendous pain. Joe, we get to a point where I kind of pointed over and said, like, oh shit, like, look, there's some really gorgeous women kind of swimming around this river. And I said, like, should they be in there? Is that safe? Like, there's like massive anacondas in these waters, right? Like, the guys I was with just kind of put their finger over their mouth, like signaling me to be quiet. And like, as I watch these women kind of keep swimming, I am just utterly shocked as I realized they had the lower half body of a literal, like, aquatic creature. They were not human. At least not fully human. As long as their sounds couldn't penetrate us. It's incredible.
Wow.
Barely see them.
Okay. And there again, let's see. Let's start with odds. Legit or not?
Man, I mean, I'd like to entertain the idea that that stuff's, out there somewhere, but I don't know if I could swallow it. I mean, there's crazy things, and I would be willing to support crazier ideas probably, but I don't know. I don't know about mermaids.
Well, and you were in the paranormal field for quite a while too. Probably not out searching for mermaids, but
I don't necessarily draw the line at a certain point, but I mean, it just depends on the information I get, I guess. And I use my discernment in figuring out whether it's believable or not for myself. And I think I have a pretty good I think I have pretty good discernment, and I just don't know about that. I mean, we didn't get here much, so
I'd have to get slapped in the face by their fin for me to believe it.
I mean, I probably would too. I wanted to believe the one when they put that program on years ago about the guys diving down in the little ball bell, and the one come up and his hand went on the window, and but I can tell you what, if you watch that and using your discernment, that whole thing was scripted.
Right.
So I mean, it seemed like they had, they touched all the right points. It seemed pretty professional and everything, but it was still, I can tell you right now, it was scripted. So
well, and what we just watched wasn't actual video footage either. It was all like painted. Right.
I was listening to the conversation and it's like that didn't really sound as scripted as the mermaid one with the guys in the diving bell, but that's why I'm kind of feeding off that one from years before. I mean, I don't see why anybody would fake anything if it was real, and I just kind of think that whole presentation was put together.
Did you and I, or were you on when we watched the Project Asylum in Nevada, where they're keeping the cryptids contained?
Yeah, it was just recently.
Yeah, just last.
Yeah, yeah, and I watched a video on that too a while back. It may have been part of the same video, or because it was just like the one I watched, where there's just everything you could possibly think of. The guy said is there. Every nightmare you've ever had was there in that. I mean,
have you heard about that at all?
I wouldn't be here to say there's no possible way.
Well, it's out of the mouth of Stephen Greer, first of all, and he's very noteworthy and trustworthy. Triple T, have you heard about Project Asylum in Nevada?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Really? This is some interesting stuff. Are you familiar with Stephen Greer?
No.
No. Okay.
I do know Stephen Greer books, but I haven't.
Okay. Okay, well, I think this is Joe Rogan talking to Stephen Greer, if I remember.
You claim to have snuck inside one of the most secretive facilities. This facility isn't about UFOs or advanced aircraft. It's about something much darker, creature containment. Creature containment, like cryptids? Are we talking Bigfoot and Chupacabra? Not just Bigfoot. Imagine every urban legend you've ever heard. Wendigos, skinwalkers, Mothman. They're real, and the government is holding them in the
We tried to watch vampires and that didn't happen. So we ended up watching sort of aquatic stuff. The first one being fishy humanoid.
Fishy.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. That was his way to describe it.
Right. And then the next one was about sirens. So we're kind of, I don't know, I feel like we're doing a do these weird creatures.
Aqua thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Cool.
And you know, I don't know if y'all have ever just watched octopi, but if they can do what they can do, you can't tell me there's not shapeshifters that are even more advanced than that.
Underwater.
I agree.
Convince me.
Look at the chameleon. I mean, in its most simplest form. You know.
Well, yeah.
But even yes, absolutely. Chromatoforms, the cells that change color, and they, like the octopus, they can change whole structure. They can turn it into whatever they want. You know, and their DNA is like unlike, they don't know where they came from.
Yeah, they say they might have come from somewhere else completely.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And there's so much of the ocean we don't know. We have no idea.
Oh, without a doubt.
We know about the octopi. What else could be down there?
And we have the biggest ones under the narrows.
Sea monsters comes to mind. Okay, this is titled. It's titled Artesia, New Mexico.
So those are two ships with two jets following on the side.
Yeah, they got fighter jets on the sides of them. That looks legit.
Escort. That would be an escort. Probably was something we've reverse engineered.
And then the plane underneath.
The plane underneath would not be able to catch up
Oh, it's the
to
other
what's going on. So that was clearly planned to be there ahead of time, right? So it
Right.
has to be an escort. It has to be one of ours.
And who was it that said reverse engineering?
Me.
Yeah, because I think you're right. I think that's exactly what it is. They
That's
probably all had lunch together that afternoon.
Yeah.
When I talked to L.A. Marzulli about the triangle, the black triangle that I saw fly just over the treetop, right over our heads, and then spotlight my two friends.
Right.
He said that. Yeah, he said that he thought that was more than likely us with reverse engineering technology. All those triangles.
And they were probably just messing with you guys.
Oh, they were messing with somebody because they. I mean, the white cylinder of light just like they were ready to beam him up, and he just looked at me and what? And he stepped inside. You know, that was quite odd, quite weird. And then it got his old lady as it was flying away.
Yeah, but then she got zapped.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people can even say that?
Well, I know 3 can.
Well, 1 can now. 3.
Yeah, him, his old lady, and me.
I thought you said they passed away.
No, she passed away.
Oh, she passed away. Okay.
Yeah, he's passed away many times.
Okay. See, that's why.
He uses to go.
Well, guess what? We've got 2 minutes. So, is everyone up for another round? Maybe I can actually find Vampire Town between now and then.
How about you? What's going on?
Yeah, just been all work and no play at the moment, mate.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Really? You've been helping.
Yeah, you got to pay the bills. Got to pay the bills, my friend.
I know, huh?
Yeah, and our fuel prices are still catastrophic. And
are they?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, still in the 180 a litre.
when we talked last time, things were going up over there. I mean, they were here though too.
Yeah.
We're paying anywhere between $5 to $5.50 or more a gallon of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the prices in the grocery stores are just horrible.
Yeah, oh, that's the same here. Yeah.
Squeeze as much as we can out of them. I know.
Well, they put everybody's energy bills up over here by 50% last month.
By 50%.
Massive amount. And now in October, it's going to be an additional, I think they said it was going to be additional 70, 80 pound a month on top of what has just gone up as well. And then it's going to go up another £100 then in January. So our average energy bills are going to be £5,000 a year for energy.
How? Why are they able to do that? Is it because is the planet running out of energy?
There's no one watching the fat cats, is there?
I guess not. I mean, we've asked Wired to do it, but he's too busy. He's got other stuff going on. Hey.
Yeah, loads. Trying to save the world.
Always busy, man.
One man at a time, innit?
Gotta be done.
Such is the life of a superhero, or a hip hop star on the rise.
Oh yeah, you never know about that one, do you?
You don't. And so what do? You hold an interview with them and try and squeeze it out of them. Wired, hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Thinking about it just now, though, I realized, we should have met like face to face a few months ago. That would have been so much fun.
That would have been
me. No doubt.
Spiritual, not you know this. I've told you stories about her.
Right.
But yeah, she's she had it attached to her on her hip, is what she said. And I remember one day I'm standing there, we're all talking, and I focused all of my attention on this thing that basically divided my family up. And I said, in my head, intentionally, you don't, you're not my mom's soulmate. She doesn't love you. She belongs to my dad. You got to get out of here. You better leave her alone. And the very next day, I wake up violently vomiting for no reason. As soon as I got out of that state, I was better. It was weird. It was just a whole weird thing. But we basically summoned a demon with our Ouija board.
Now, that doesn't surprise me, though, because according to true accounts, that's basically what it is. I know it's a game by Parker Brothers, and it's sold on on toy shelves. Excuse me, but one thing about Ouija board, wherever its roots are, whatever its source is so spiritually demonic that it surprises me. And I mean, you hear stories off and on over time about different people that have had different experiences with it. So none of that surprises me. And you said this was back in 2012. And any remnant of it at all?
No. I think maybe it ran its course. And I hope so. And that's why I feel like I shouldn't really talk about it too much, but I thought maybe it would be a really good last time kind of story for you if you wanted to share it with your viewers.
For sure.
And anytime I see people, you know, oh, I'm going to play the Ouija board, I think, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, I always loved it. We played it since I was a kid, and never had something like that happen. And I think Mom and I just kind of went too deep in, and just happened to come upon this thing. And it just, it caused a lot of, I mean, I believe it did. I can't say for sure if that is exactly what caused anything. But if you look up the name of this, there's a lot of information on this entity that a lot of other people have had experience with. And I just thought, this can't be something we made up, because we had never heard of it.
Right.
Never. And it just happened to happen. And then we found out what it was. And then it hit the storm, you know? I mean, like, it was just a series of events after that for a good 5 years that followed. So it was awful.
It makes me wonder, especially because of the fact that it's still merchandised and produced and presented as a quote unquote game, a family game. It makes me wonder just how much the Parker brothers knew when they first commissioned that to be done back in the 20s or 30s, whenever it was first hit the shelves. I don't know, you know, and as time goes on, none of this surprises me, because it, you know, as each day passes, it seems like we learn a little bit more and more about just how dark the world really is.
Yeah. And divided at this point. It is, people are so cruel to each other, you know, and that affects everything. I mean, even, I know this sounds maybe flighty, but even freezing water while it's freezing can be affected by positive or negative energy around it. Right. They did a study where they were forming snowflakes, and they were talking to the water as it was freezing into snowflakes, saying, you know, stuff like, you're horrible, you're ugly, negative, horrible things. And it made just like a really horrible shape. But while they froze a snowflake and were saying positive things, it made a beautiful snowflake. Like, the water reacted to positive and negative energy coming from, you know, humans.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's gotta be deer. I know it's deer. it's deer. Because this is also the same area when he finally pops on with us here in the near future. Now it's got a couple of stories about there's something out in his area, and he doesn't know if it's Skinwalker, and he doesn't know if it's Sasquatch, but it's between Tumwater and Maytown. So
whereabouts?
Just south of Pilot and Flying J.
Okay.
So that's south of Tumwater and before Maytown.
So it's, that's south of Tumwater. Would it be like just south, outside of the airport, south of it?
Yeah.
On the back road that goes by the mill.
The west side of I-5. So actually, not that far from where we rendezvoused that day.
Oh, the west side of I-5. So, all right. So
you're where our rendezvous was that day.
The Little Rock Road side.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I know a guy that lives back on the road back there, and he says there's weird stuff back there too. Just down the first road on the right, past Pilot.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm sure I know it was a deer. I know it was.
Yeah, more than likely.
Remember that sound that we heard?
What's that?
That weird, the first sound that we heard, that's like scream, the scream,
oh, yeah.
Scream.
Right.
That was different.
I wish that I would have been paying more attention though when we heard that.
It was like it was kind of like it's a combination of a human and an animal. It was like I couldn't put my finger on what it was.
Can you rub my back?
Right.
You remember that, Shannon and Oz? When we first pulled over, and when we looked at the
where the elk were.
The elk, yes.
Yes, you're right. Mm-hmm.
And there was it was a yell or a scream or
Over to the left, way out in the woods that way. Yes.
To the left, yeah.
Yeah, that was really eerie.
Yeah, I wish that we would have been able to have gotten closer to where those elk were. But that was a massive field, though, too, that they were in. How many hundreds of feet would you say that was from us?
Probably like at least maybe 12, no, like 3,000 feet.
You think they were that? Well, they were a long ways out there.
I'd say like 2,500.
3,000 feet, though, I don't know if they were that far.
2,500.
Do I hear two?
Yeah. 18.
Okay. Whatever it was, I mean, they were a long ways out there. And I kept thinking, it's like, there so easily could be something in that tree line that we saw.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know?
They were about 50 yards away, probably.
No.
If you were migrating, you wouldn't want to migrate alone. And if you migrated with them, you would hang in the tree line, right? I mean, Sasquatch wouldn't hang out.
You gotta go?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. King James and Mama Hart from the Inland Empire are saying adios. Have a good night, you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, guys. Have fun.
All right, we'll see you soon. All right. Yeah, no, I know. Where was that again that that was off of the backside of Delphi, but it was.
It's like 123rd that turns into, I can't think of the stretch that we were on, the name they call it.
Okay.
And then I think that's 110.
Okay. And where was I? I was out on that end of town earlier today too, and went along an area. Oh, I know where it was. Closer into Tumwater, where the power lines are, actually. And I still want to do that one of these days too. What time are we looking at? We are looking at. Oh, wow. Okay. So we've got probably about 10, 15 minutes. I don't want to leave us dangling while Oz is gone. Should we watch another real quick clip of the Small Town Monsters? So,
sure.
Good idea.
Okay, good. Grab the popcorn. And I think this might be the last one, if I remember right. Okay, so listeners, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. As always, you've been listening to us here on X-Vibe Radio. This is the Hook, Line, and Thinker podcast, coming to you from several points throughout Washington tonight. And we are about ready to watch one more clip. Luckily enough, there's good audio with it, so you're not too far in the dark. Let's see. Too far in the dark. We'll just start with this one and see what happens.
Realm of Dogman werewolf sightings than a typical Bigfoot sighting.
It's always seemed like Dogman is a bit aggressive in nature because you hear so many stories of people that see it and it chases them out of an area or it bites them. There are multiple sightings up from here in the region where people just see it run across the trail or it doesn't chase them. They'll just see it. It's like every encounter you hear that they're described just a little bit different. People say it looked like the werewolf from the movie, or you hear somebody say, "Well, the legs and the arms looked like a canine, but it stood up on two legs. It had a coyote head, but it was much larger." So it's a little strange in that way. You hear a lot of different types. They all seem to differ in some little manner.
So anywhere in the Midwest, I mean, it just makes perfect sense. And there's a lot of
opportunity for ourselves and for future generations. A new world.